system he's coming out of in
Well,
college.
Driscoll actually went to the University of Florida. I think didn't he go to one of the Louisiana schools too?
Okay, so he
So
probably played alongside the likes of, I don't know how long he's been in the league, but
not very long, couple of
he's
years.
probably played alongside the likes of Will Greer, who transferred a couple of
Maybe
times.
I don't know. I
But
don't follow that.
yeah, look, I don't know the severity of Stafford's injury, and look,
Right.
he's been an above average quarterback, though the team's record doesn't reflect it. I believe they're 69, 79, and 1 since he's taken over as a starter there. That's one of the few football stats I have lodged in my head at the moment.
Well,
But
that's all right.
you're right. He is the best thing that they've had at that quarterback position for a while. Obviously I don't know the history of that franchise, so I can't list off quarterbacks. All I know is that they were bad prior to him being drafted number 1 overall in 2009. And you know what? I think he learned that sidearm throw from his friend down in Highland Park, Texas. As you know, he's good friends with Clayton Kershaw. So
Oh, I was waiting for that baseball reference.
not
That's
a
okay.
not a bad friend. To
Very
have.
appropriate. No
Yeah.
problem. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Very appropriate.
Look,
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think what he's really missing is, obviously Calvin Johnson, only a 9-season career, but one of the most illustrious wide receiver careers that we've seen, that side of, Jerry Rice. And I'm not saying he's Jerry Rice, but I think what the point I'm trying to get to here is that I think if Stafford wants to have another elite season, and I believe the game he's talking about with Dallas came in 2014, which was one of Romo's best seasons. One of the times I thought he looked absolutely fantastic. But I think he needs. If they're going in the draft next year, you're going to have to do something. Get another star wide receiver because Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson had a relationship, kind of like Mick and Keith, if you know that reference I'm talking about.
Not really. If it's
Well,
a music
the
one,
Stones,
I probably
but
don't.
you know what I'm saying. Obviously, a wide receiver is key to that offense.
Oh yeah.
Give me a little bit on the offensive line real quick. How good are they moving forward? I don't know if anybody's locked up. Who do they got over there that's protecting Stafford and Driscoll right now?
I don't know.
So
that's a position that gets banged up a lot,
Yeah.
so you never can tell.
Yeah.
They move in and out of bodies when you're in the trenches. Oh, you should find that out.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but that's okay.
Trust me, I'm not 6'6", 290, so I don't.
Well, if you did, then you wouldn't be fitting in this studio as
No,
easy
man.
as you do.
I would look like Andre the Giant sitting here
Yeah, right.
drinking 100 beers a night. But yeah,
That was good.
I don't know, man. Look. Their playoff hopes are gone. They're 3-6-1 right now. Obviously,
Who, the Lions?
Yeah, Detroit.
No, 3-5-1.
Oh, 3-5-1.
Don't
Okay.
give them another loss yet.
Yeah.
Maybe on Sunday you can.
Yeah, look, Dallas is a good team. They're playing the right football at the right time. I think Jason Garrett's pillow feels a lot softer nowadays because of all that speculation that's going on with him. But yeah, look, if in your opinion, obviously Jerry Jones has a lot of faith in his guys. We saw it when he brought in Greg Hardy after a domestic violence suspension. I didn't understand that. Now the guy's fighting UFC down here in Coconut Creek.
Is he really?
Yeah, down at American Top Team right by me.
Didn't know that.
But regardless of that, if Dallas doesn't advance to at least a championship game, and I'm blanking on whether they're in the NFC or the AFC.
Oh, the NFC.
What
That's
is
okay.
what is the status of Jason Garrett's job if they don't go to say that they don't?
Well, Jerry's a loyal guy. I don't know, but does he get rid of him? Who knows?
Because Garrett's been there for a decade now. It seems like
9, 10, 7 years.
But maybe he's starting to get a hold of that team again. Obviously, we saw early in the season that nobody was gravitating towards him.
Well, it's too hard to tell. That one's just too difficult to tell.
Yeah.
All I know is if Jerry decides to keep him around, he decides to keep him around. It's just one of those situations.
Yeah, so I guess while we have a couple of minutes while we wait for Mel, do you want to talk a little bit about what we have going on as far as, what's going on in the Tribune, our Twitter, other shows that we got going on? You want to plug them real quick?
Well, no, I'll let you do it.
Okay, so as you all know, me and Scott recently just started a baseball program called 108 Stitches, baseball talk around the diamond. Obviously, a lot of the talk so far has been primarily football, but our show that we have right now, we're doing it about.
Well, we'll get to it in a moment.
We'll get back to that in a minute. Right now, we got Mel Farr on the line.
All right, hey Mel, how you doing? Welcome to the Sports Exchange. It's all right. How are you doing? Good to have you back, buddy. So,
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's talk about some predictions here, okay? I know last week you and I had a spirited conversation about Minnesota versus Penn State. You thought the Lions were going to walk into Gopher territory. Didn't quite work out that way.
Yeah, that game wasn't even close. I didn't see that one coming. I thought Penn State, they were ready to take that next step, but obviously they're not. I hadn't watched Minnesota play all year, but they're a very good football team. They're a very good football team, well coached. like we talked about, we know what Fleck did when he was over at Western Michigan. We know how what he did with that team. He took them to a Cotton Bowl. But he's got Minnesota playing well. Those guys look real good. That game wasn't even close.
Yeah, that's true. I had a feeling that Minnesota was going to do pretty well, and the reason why is because of the energy that PJ Fleck has brought in to Minneapolis. With a great tenure at Western Michigan, and now adding a 7-year contract to it. Minnesota. Few people realize they've won 3 national championships in the program's history, and the Gophers are for real. People better start paying attention to them. So I don't want to sit here and tell you I told you so, but I told you so. I'm just teasing you.
Yes, you did. You got me there.
That's all right. Well, I got you on another one, too, but that's all right. You'll have a chance to get me next week. But LSU against Alabama. Ed Orgeron, obviously the biggest one he's ever had in Baton Rouge, let alone as a college coach. I'll tell you, they love him out in Baton Rouge, don't they? But I was glad that LSU got the win over Alabama.
Yeah, I'm a Nick Saban guy. I like Coach Saban, but I said I felt a little funny about the pick, but I went ahead and went with Coach Saban. But it doesn't surprise me that LSU won.
Yeah,
LSU is a very good football team.
Yeah, they are.
They're a very talented football team, and really they whipped Alabama. They made Alabama look bad. Alabama had some turnovers, and that doesn't help. You can't turn the football over. You can't make mistakes when you're playing against a team as talented as LSU. And their quarterback is just playing lights out. He made some big plays when they needed it, when the team needed it, and that's why they came out on top.
All right. Well, we talked about last week, so we're going to give you 7 games to pick with the 7 minutes that you have. All right, or actually probably 8. Well, till 9:20. So here we go. Michigan State against Michigan. Our in-state rival back home. Michigan goes into the game 15th in the country. Is this Mark D'Antonio's final game in this rivalry? Who do you pick? First of all, I need your prediction.
I'm not a Michigan guy. I like Harbaugh though. I'm a state guy, but I'm gonna have to say that Michigan is gonna prevail in this game. I think it would be a mistake if they let D'Antonio go. Again, this is one of those programs where it's a tough. Michigan State is a tough program. As far as recruiting is concerned and so forth and so on, and they got the right guy there. They're having a down year.
Right.
So I really believe that they need to stick with the head coach, but I don't think they're going to prevail this week. Okay,
so you got the Wolverines. All right, next game that we have, the Florida Gators ranked 11th in the country against Missouri. Records, just so you know, Florida goes into it 8-2, Missouri 5-4.
Yeah, Missouri's just coming off that behind kicking they took last week against Georgia. But I don't see it getting any better for the Tigers. I think that Florida State's going to win this one too.
Florida, okay, no problems. You got the Gators.
Florida, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I know you're getting a little excited about their win last week. No big deal. You got it well again.
Yeah, they destroyed Vanderbilt. It was like 56-0.
46-0. But it was by a lot. All right, so you got Florida, Michigan. We've got another 5 games to go. All right, Wisconsin, Nebraska. Wisconsin 7-2, Nebraska 4-5. I think a lot more people expected a whole lot more out of Nebraska with Scott Frost's second year. But what's your take on it?
Yeah, with the kind of success that he had at UCF, I think they're expecting big things from him.
Sure.
But he's finding out it's tough. It's tough to win the Big Ten, and I don't see him winning this week either.
Okay.
I see him coming out with an L this week too.
Well, right now
taking his lumps.
We're keeping score, man. So we're going to find out. Lewis is the guy that has been hired to keep tabs on you every week. So, all right, Wake Forest against Clemson. Now, this one's an interesting matchup. Wake Forest enters the game 7-2 against Clemson, number 3 in the country, 10-0. But the Demon Deacons are having a pretty decent year.
Yeah, they are. That's quite surprising. I am going to go with. I know Clemson. They are obviously they're feeling a little bit better this week. I think they got into the college football playoff now. I think they're ranked number 4? They were number 3, or they're
yeah.
They're in the top 5 now. They're ranked number 3. I think.
Right.
With some of the things that took place last week, but I'm going to go with the Demon Deacons.
You're going to pick the upset. Wake Forest, really?
Before we go to that next game, I don't know if you've seen him, but obviously, that game ended pretty early. It was like 30-something, nothing in the first half. But their backup at Clemson, Chase Bryce, I don't know if you saw his line. That guy looks pretty impressive for somebody. Now, I believe Trevor Lawrence's former high school quarterback teammate just committed to Clemson. So that would lead me to believe that, say, in another year or two, this is Chase Bryce's team. The guy's only a sophomore.
Yeah, without question. They're going to reload. I mean, Dabo's done a great job recruiting. He's a heck of a recruiter. And the only way you can win in college football is you got to have horses. And Dabo's getting horses there. I mean, he's made that a destination place. They don't look at it, it's a Southern school. That's how they look at it. It's a Southern school. They play in the ACC. And Dabo's a great coach. I mean, once he gets them there and they get them in that program, he does a great job with them. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all that they're getting all this talent over there.
So you say Wake Forest could be Clemson. We're going to have a conversation when we get up to Georgia. All right, I got. All right, that's okay. That's why it's intriguing. I can't wait to talk about this when we meet face to face in a few weeks, Mel. All right, so we got a top 12 matchup between Georgia and Auburn. Where are you going with this one, Mel? 8-1 for Georgia, 7-2 for Auburn.
Obviously Georgia need this game to stay in the conversation for the college for the playoffs. That right now they have them a little bit ahead of Alabama at number 4.
Right.
Auburn, they're trying to get in the conversation so they can get down there and play in the championship. No, they're in the West, so they can't play in the championship game. But this is a rivalry game. Georgia needs this game to stay alive. I think I'm going to go with Auburn.
Really? Ooh, Mel is going out on the limb today.
Hot take.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Auburn. Georgia, they just offensively, they got a great defense, no question about it. But offensively, they aren't anything special. Neither is Auburn. But I think that at least Auburn wants to be explosive. Georgia doesn't want to be explosive. Kirby Smart likes to play conservative football offensively and just wants to play good defense and beat you up and wants to win a low-scoring game. I think that Auburn's going to get out ahead, get out early, and it's going to force Georgia out of their game plan, which is to run the football, and they're going to make Jake Farr beat them.
All right, well, we're going to go back to Minnesota again since you like the Gophers so much. They go 9-0 against Iowa, 6-3. A pretty interesting matchup. The game, by the way, is in Iowa.
Yeah, I'm not going to go against the Golden Gophers.
Smart.
Like I said, that was the first time me seeing them play. Obviously, that was a big game, so the emotions were high. These players understood the magnitude of that game. It was a nationally televised game.
Right.
I'm just hoping that they didn't leave everything out there in the field last week and they come out here and lay a dud this particular week. But I think that PJ Fleck's going to have those guys ready to play. I think they know what's in front of them. I think they know what the opportunity is that they have in front of them, the opportunity to make history at that program, and I think they'll win. I think they'll beat Iowa.
The man got smart there and decided to go Gophers. What do you want to say?
I'm going to say, you've given a couple of hot takes so far, Mel, so I think we're going to program an audio clip that we're going to start calling your hot takes the habanero hot takes, we'll just get...
Hey, I got a music junkie here, Mel, but that's okay if that's what the kid likes.
Nothing music, but a hot take. I mean, we'll just use a little alliteration there, but, because some upsets you got brewing here. But let's go on to the next game, Scott.
Well, we got 7, so we didn't want to overbury the guy, and then we'll recap one or two of his predictions. We got Appalachian State 25, ranked 25 against team in your backyard, Georgia State. Now, the records are interesting. This is a Sun Belt East matchup. Appalachian State's 8-1, and Georgia State 6-3. Now, we got to give Mel his prompts. That you predicted, I believe, Appalachian State to beat South Carolina. So as much as we're going to beat up on you a little bit, got to give the man a chance to go ahead and pat himself on the back. Go ahead, but pick the game first, and then pat yourself on the back.
App State was coming off that tough loss against Georgia Southern. And
right.
Obviously, and they're ranked in the top 25 at that particular time. And, they dropped out. Now they're back in when they beat South Carolina, who's, they're not a very good football team. But I think App State is in a different league than Georgia State. I think App State will win this game as well, and I think they'll win it convincingly. But Appalachian State's a good football team. There's somebody that you have to be prepared for, obviously, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they've beaten 2 FBS schools, haven't they, this year?
Well, I would assume. I don't have it in front of me, but I'll take your word for it. So, all right, you talked about South Carolina, though, Mel. You say it's a tough place to win. Why is it tough to win when you're in South Carolina?
Well, it's hard to recruit. You got to think about, South Carolina is so close to, and a lot of the talent. There's not a lot of talent in South Carolina itself, so they're trying to get talent out of Georgia.